Welcome to the Elephant TV. My name is Abdullahi and our guest is Joseph Kalapata. Joseph is a leader within climate change and community development. Joseph, welcome to the Elephant TV.
Thank you so much, Hassan.
I want us to talk about, the Turkana indigenous method called the Ekwar. Not many people know what it is. Could you start off by explaining to us what Ekwar system is?
Ekwar, the word itself, Ekwar, is a Turkana name. And Ekwar is the riverbanks. Ekwar is riverbanks. Within the riverines and within the wetlands, it's called Ekwar. And Ekwar is a right to trees, right to trees. And when I talk about the trees, is specific trees that actually surround the Ekwar management system that is practiced by the Turkana. And it's practiced by not all Turkanas. It's practiced by the Turkanas around Katilo, around Lotikipi, around Lokapel, around within the areas with rivers, within Kerio areas. Those are areas that Ekwar is practiced. And Ekwar is very important in Turkana. It is a management system, and especially surrounding the areas of fodder and with the trees with fodder. And it's actually around specific trees. Those are from the acacia species. We have the acacia species that Ekwar is practiced: Acacia totilis, Acacia senegal, Acacia revisions, Acacia nubica, and we have also other species like the Balanitis that the Ekwar practice is around. Balanitis tundifola, and the Acacia senegal, Acacia zeal. Those are trees that are found around Ekwar, because Ekwar is around, it's the riverines, around the riverines. That is Ekwar.
That's brilliant. So you're saying that, pastoralist communities, the Turkana ones like you have explained there, they are actually good for the environment. They're actually good for the climate within which they operate. And so how would you respond to those people who look at pastoralists through the lens of the tragedy of commons? Pastoralists keep, an unsustainable number of livestock, so they destroy the ecosystem within which they work, and so they are destructive. But here you are explaining to me that Ekwar is actually a way of preserving the environment. How do you respond to them?
Yes, actually, Ekwar is actually a very important way of life in Turkana pastoralist community, and especially those who still dominate in practice of natural resources and who manage particularly the drier trees and woodward trees. And the Turkanas in practice of Ekwar are proved actually to be good managers in climate change, and especially in arid drylands of Turkana. Giving you an example of people in Katilo and Kerio areas, they don't need this modern knowledge because Ekwar knowledge is already dominating them. Ekwar knowledge is already practiced. Years and years since the books have been written on Ekwar, so many researchers have written books on Ekwar. And Ekwar has really proved to be a good practice on climate management, environment management, ecological management. And actually, it is actually encouraged, and it's encouraged even with the current governance within the county governments by the civil society. And actually, it is proving to be a good practice. And it originates from actually a local indigenous forestry management system around Turkana. And the practice originates and is been given identity by actually the leaders. The leaders that range from elders in Turkana. We have the Ngumurok, we have the sandal tossers, we have the soothsayers, we have the intestinal readers, and actually who read the climate and now realize it is through Ekwar System that all this is managed. And Ekwar specifically is about fodder. It's about fodder and dryland trees, like the acacia totalis, as I have named.
That is well taken. But you know, this indigenous system is coming up against people who say, let's modernize pastoralism. And then there is also the large-scale infrastructure projects that is coming not just to the Turkana region, but also to the larger pastoralist region. Do you see this large-scale infrastructure project as a threat to the Ekwar system?
Yeah, actually, there is major threats around the LAPSET projects, not only the LAPSET projects. We already have the large deforestation around the Turkana Lokishar Basin, and that's the oil basin in the country. And communities have already realized the challenges of the reduced practice of Ekwar around the oil production area that has forced the people to move around actually very fertile and where the practice has always been dominated. The other one is the LAPSET corridor, which actually, according to the initiators of the LAPSET, it is believed it is going to do, the construction will go alongside the vegetation areas where masses of trees must be demolished to allow the road paths. And also the culture and the practice of the people becomes now, could diminish very fast because of the massive development that is coming around the Turkana. Number two, there is also the land aspect, the land issue, because in Kenya, we had the Land Act 2016.
Community Land Act 2016.
Yeah, Community Land Act 2016, which allows communities to gazette and register their land. But in this way again, there are limitations, whereas the national government are appropriating the community land by putting the compulsory acquisition of land within the Turkana County, Samburu County, Isiolo County, Lamu County. And if you are going to appropriate this land without compensation around Turkana, then there will be changes completely in the people's life and the pastoralism practice around those areas that the LAPSET is going to pass through. We also have now the pipeline, the oil pipeline. We have the road, the Lokishari Lamu Lokishari road. We have the Lokishari Lamu pipeline. We have also construction of the breather points for oil, actually oil around the 6 counties, where you will realize that there will be a lot of demolitions, there will be a lot of destruction. The ecosystem that are actually been used to managing pasture, mainly around the areas of Katilia, you realize we have good water points that has been used by the community, and those are the areas that mainly the roads and destruction will happen. So those are the challenges. There are already challenges, and realize that the community, people are talking about the compensation, people are talking about who is going to be compensated. Is it the Turkana County government? Is it the indigenous people within Lokishar, within areas of Lokori, within areas of Katile? Are those the people who are going to be compensated? Or the money will be appropriated by the county and national government? So there are already underlying threats, and which may affect the people within the Ekwar, and especially within alongside the Lapset corridor.
Brilliant. So finally, you mentioned the county government. I mean, it will be a remiss if we don't speak about it. To what extent then, the county government has incorporated some aspects of Ekwar, system as part of their, ecological preservation, so that, people and their livestock do not suffer during long drought like the one that we are experiencing now?
Yeah, actually, one thing that I cannot deny is I give good echoes to Turkana County government, because apart from engaging the issue of bigger projects and mega projects, the Turkana Livestock Department, through the ministry and the Department of Livestock, Fisheries, and also minerals, the county has developed a policy on livestock, and that actually that helps the communities around the Ekwar system. Actually, the policy mentions clearly the best practices around the Turkana, and actually the county government of Turkana recognizes Ekwar, and that's why they pushed for the policy. And because most of the Turkana alongside the Ekwar areas are actually predominantly the pure pastoralists who practice culture. And through a dryland system that is practiced by the community, the county government, they have introduced also the drylands opportunities, the drylands farming, the drylands eco management system, to ensure that around also the Ekwar, the people encourage planting of the indigenous trees of Acacia totilis, Acacia ceas, Acacia reticens. Actually, they are really trying. They are really trying around the real practice. And the livestock department encourages more in Ekwar, because there is no other methods that can be introduced. You cannot introduce because of the nature of the land, the nature of the climate conditions given today. You cannot actually try another practice in Turkana other than Ekwar proves itself to be the best. There is also pasture management committees that were tried by the county to be introduced, but the Ekwar managers, who are the seers, who are the elders, who are the ngumurok, who are the sandal tossers, actually proves to be the best. You can't introduce you cannot introduce Kalapata and Asan to go and try Ekwar. Ekwar has dominated them actually, because some of those areas, the culture, the people are dominated by culture.
No, thank you so much, yes. Joseph.
Yes.
No,
yes.
Thank you so much. That was really fascinating insight. A lot of the time we look for new, novel technologies when there are, communities that have done something for centuries and they have been able to enforce it as a best practice. Thank you once again for coming to the Elephant TV. I hope we'll be able to have, conversations like these ones and many others that affect people in that region when time allows. Thank you once again, Joseph.
Thank you so much, Hassan. I will be there always to listen and also share to you. I have a lot of documentation I will be able to send via your email so that you can be able to do the reference, and also the policy, the Turkana County government policy on livestock and pasture management, the policy around the climate change by Turkana, policy on minerals in Turkana. I can be able to share.
Thank you. Thank you, Joseph. Have a nice day.
Thank you.